I don't know, man. I just wanted to talk to you about some shit because, like, obviously, it's clear that James is going through one of his, like, I guess you could say phases at the minute. And I had like a brief conversation with him, like, yesterday. And the way I explain it to him, right, because it's obvious that he's talking to people like shit, or some people like shit. And the way I said it to him was, some people will see James coming at you or coming at me or someone like Matt, for example, but they won't understand, like, the relationships that we've had for all these years, you know? Like I've known you for a long ass time, I've known James for a long ass time, I've known SK for a long ass time, but some of the gang don't understand that. And I basically just said to him, bro, I was like, I don't think it's right that you talk to certain people like shit. Especially as a shot caller. I don't know, man. The way, like, I love James to pieces, bro. I really do. And he's fit for, I think he's fit for the role as a shot caller when he's not like this. Because right now, like,
Yeah.
let's be real, like, he isn't, he's not really doing anything with anyone other than the people he likes, and that's, like, a very select few. And then other than that, he's hanging out with other gangs, like SOB or Hydra.
The way I put it to SK yesterday is he only wants to hang out with people that are the same rank of him as him or more, minus Matt. He seems to look down on everyone else in the gang as if he's better than them.
And it's funny you say that, right? Because when the shot caller role got introduced into the gang, me and SK obviously had a conversation about, obviously, me becoming a shot caller and who I think would be good for the role. And we had a conversation about James, and I said I just don't think he's, like, if he's serious, yeah, sure. He's fucking great for the role. He actually gets people doing shit, and he keeps the gang organized. But when he gets into these episodes like this right now, it's like he's the complete polar opposite of a shot caller.
Funny enough, I was against James being a shot caller.
I was at the time as well, and I voiced that to SK.
Yeah, so did I.
Another thing I do want to tell you about, but I'd prefer if it didn't leave between me and you, because I'm pretty sure I'm the only other person that knows about this. But when I woke up yesterday, James invited me to, like, go do some Rainbow Road shit with him and Hydra. Which was, like, hitting a bank truck and then hitting a fleeker and then hitting Polito and then cargo. Basically, while James was at Grove sorting some shit, Arnie said something along the lines of, what's been going on with the Manor, Taylor? Like, I've heard there's some stuff going on where, like, OG members of the Manor don't want to hang out with, like, smaller members in the Manor or the newer generation of the Manor. Like, it's something along those lines. Which, obviously, I hadn't heard a thing about. Because, honestly, since being back, I haven't really seen James all that much. To the point where I asked James about it when he got back in the car. I was like, I didn't say, was it you that said it? But I was like, do you know anything about this? And he did his typical, nah, man, nah, I didn't know, I don't know anything, with a grin on his face. Like, you could hear the grin on his face. So, I think he's been spouting shit to Hydra, if I'm honest. I don't know if it's in a serious way or if he's just letting his frustrations out, but I don't agree with it. I don't know, and it doesn't matter who it is in the gang. You could be the closest person to me in the gang, like James, or you could be a brand new fucking member. I couldn't give a fuck. Like, I don't agree with it in the slightest.
I swear he aired out Shlomi for when he went off and complained about not being in the 6th Hydra.
Wait, Shlomi aired out shit to Hydra?
He rang Benz after I benched him from a cargo ship to like do something, and he let slip that he's been benched from the 6. And they kind of put 2 and 2 together that we were hitting cargo because there was nothing else on at the time. And then apparently it was brought back up to him by Hydra later on, and like when somebody was hanging out with him later in the night, and then Amika like rang James on like a joking thing, saying like, "Oh, Shlomi's complaining to us about not being in the 6," but like they're the ones that brought it up to Shlomi, and then Shlomi talked about it a bit with them because he'd let it slip initially, and I'd already given out to Shlomi at this point, but I'm fairly sure James was one of the people that put him on blast for that.
Yeah.
So it's extremely hypocritical for him to put someone on blast for that and then go off and do the
Exact same
worse
thing. Well, yeah, or worse.
Complaining about not being about being benched to another gang is bad, but complaining saying you don't fuck with other gang members to another gang is even worse.
Yeah, not wrong. But I don't know, man. I think it's a case of Jim's head's just not in it at the minute. And he's just bored, and that's why he's doing the things that he's doing. But also at the same time, it could be it could also just be a serious thing, and he just doesn't fuck with everyone. And I don't know how that's gonna get resolved.
He doesn't give people a chance, bro. Like the guy will wake up, right? And if the core people aren't around, like you or Matt or SK, let's say he woke up and the people that were around were Mick, Bambi, Frank, and I don't know, let's say Bella. James is not gonna want to do a thing with them. He's gonna go off to Hydra or SOB or Besties or somebody and try to do something with them.
Yeah. See, that's a thing as well, though. Like, I'm definitely not as close with Jim as I once was. Like, I've felt this for a while that, like, since I personally joined the Manor, I could sort of see like a downward slope of the time that I was like hanging out with Jim. Like, he would just always be on the phone, he'd be doing his own thing, which is fine. Like, at the time he was actually doing shit for the gang and stuff like that, but like now he's just hanging out doing jobs with others when we have when other people are around. And like you said, he only fucks around, like chills and fucks with the core people like me, you, Matt, SK. He doesn't fuck with anyone else.
And like, from my point of view right now, right, I'll say it. The only people in the gang that I don't even want to say I don't fuck with, but that I have issues with, that's worth talking about, would be Jim himself and Max. And my reasons for not fucking with Jim is because of this whole shit, and Max because he's been talking shit to DJ and stuff about like fucking, I don't know, just he said some shit about like him not being afraid to leave the gang if it comes to it and all his bollocks, which if it was solely up to me, I'd have kicked him on the spot.
See, Luke said something after the meeting to me and who was it? Me and Clive, I think. He said something along the lines of he thinks that Max was just spouting bullshit to DJ to see if DJ would snake him and go and tell Jim. But Luke also said that he thinks he could have literally just been backtracking because he got found out for what he was saying.
Yeah, that's bollocks, bro. No one would risk that. Because let's be real, if that got back to me the day it happened and it was when SK wasn't around, I could have done something crazy.
Yeah.
Why would you risk that? People know how I react to threatening to leave the gang. in my eyes, if those words leave your mouth, you're gone.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. I agree with that.
So that's just him trying to cover his arse because he's got fucking found out.
But it's also why I like it's also why I stepped into the middle of everyone in the meeting yesterday, and I was like, stop talking in your fucking little cliques and actually talk to hierarchy. Like, cause bro, no one, like, people have all these fucking issues and drama, but bro, I don't talk to anyone like about issues. Like, no one ever comes to me and says, oh, this person's done that, this person's done that. Like,
People bring stuff to me, right? Max doesn't, obviously.
yeah, Max just spouts
James
shit.
doesn't. I knew people had problems with James, but the problem is I also had a problem with James.
Yeah.
So, like, the example of, like, the stuff Bambi brought up yesterday, right, where James was straight denying it, I was there for both of the examples. I was the only one to speak up. There was more people there as well. But, like, I can't remember the what exactly happened. But we were running into the shop, and Bambi said something on the radio, and it was like, I can't remember what she said, but it wasn't anything crazy or like stupid or anything, because otherwise I'd remember what she said, right? But I remember in the moment thinking that what she said was fine. She questioned something, and James turned around the radio and told her that you're a fucking hang around, you're a nobody, and shut the fuck up. That's what she was. That was one of the situations she was referencing.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know if John's rubbing off on James or something, because that's how John would speak to Bambi and Mick. And I don't fuck with how John treats them personally, but they're also his people, right?
Yeah.
They've been with him for years. Obviously, it's not my place to say you don't treat them right, because obviously they're all right with how they're treated if they're fucking been around them for fucking, you know, however many fucking years, right?
Yeah. And then also came here to be in the same gang with him, you know?
With him.
It's like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. He does push it too far with them sometimes that they get pressed, but like, I mean, it is what it is, right? That's their back and forth shit.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like, I don't know.
It's hard because we love James, but also it's to a point now where it's affecting people in the gang, and even after I've had a conversation with James and like sort of just try to get him to tone it down a bit, like it just showed in the meeting that he honestly doesn't give a fuck.
He didn't take that meeting seriously at all.
No, he didn't. You could hear him fucking smiling under his mask. Like, it's almost like, right? It's almost like Jim's had a fucking switch in his brain just flicked. And now he's a completely different person. And he's just on his, like, solo bullshittery.
Like, my issue with it is, like, I genuinely... Like, the week while SK was away, he was the worst, for sure. And I know he was doing it on purpose.
What was he doing while SK was away?
He was just being a cunt to me specifically. He was trying to get a reaction out of me specifically. Like, just being his usual annoying self, not taking shit seriously. If I tried to say something, he'd speak over me, and he'd do it over and over and over again on purpose. Like, I knew he was doing this shit on purpose. It's like, and then him and John were teaming up at one point trying to piss me off. And it got to a boiling point where I basically told him he needs to wind his neck in before I do something he regrets.
Yeah. I don't fucking
like
know.
John,
Man.
and John can be similar, right? But the thing about John is, like, if I ring him on a serious thing, he'll
cut that shit out.
Like, I can bring something to John and trust that he'll be serious and take it serious. He might have a slight laugh or two in between, but like, in the grand scheme of things, it'll be a serious conversation.
Yeah, John's always had that sort of thing in his mind where, like, he'll have a serious conversation and that shit will cut out. Like, he'll wind his neck in and actually be on a serious thing where fucking James won't. It almost encourages him to do more, I feel like, at the minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I brought this to you, right, because, like, I was just thinking to myself, right, like, after what I said in the meeting and saying that people need to stop talking in their own cliques and actually, like, stop shitting on each other, I just realized that, like, I'd be a fucking hypocrite if I wasn't to say something about Jim and just keep it to myself. Because ultimately, right, I've come to realize that, well, I mean, I've known this already, but, and I always will be loyal to this gang, but, like, I am here for this gang. I'm not here for certain people.
Same.
Like, it was the same in Ballers. It will be the same in the Manor. I will always be loyal to this gang and the people in it. I won't be loyal to specific people. I never have and I never will. It's the gang or nothing for me.
Hey, you know my solution to union. Outsource. Fuck patriotism. People need iPhone.
I just want him to snap out of it, bro. I really do.
Exactly.
I think the only person to get him into order is SK.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think you need to tell SK this. Because I'll be real. I feel like so many times when it comes down to it, I'm the one that has to be the cunt.
Yeah.
But the way this is unfolding, in reality, I'm not in a position to do anything about James. It's not my place. And the issue is, the James that SK sees, I feel like, is completely different to the James that everyone else sees.
No, 100%, I agree with that.
But I'll be real. If it comes down to it, and he puts me in a position to make a decision, and SK isn't around, I will make the fucking decision. Whether SK is not happy with that or not, if he pushes it to that point, I'm not saying it's at that point right now, but if he keeps pushing it to that point, I'll fucking do it.
As you should. The thing is, it shouldn't, like, you should be able to make that call. You are the 2IC of this gang. It shouldn't be a case of James needs to fucking wait for SK to tell him what to do. He should be listening to you regardless.
I know.
But at the same time, it was very clear in that meeting yesterday, even when SK was talking to him, that he just did not give a fuck.
The issue is with James, for me at least, I genuinely don't think there's anything I can do to him besides the modem or worse for him to listen. I think there's a part of James, I can't put my finger on it, but I think there's a part of James that feels like he should be in my position, and therefore he'll never respect me the way he should.
If James was in the position that you're in, the gang would crumble.
I agree, but I feel like there's a part of him that believes that. I feel like there's a part of him that thinks if he was in this position, he'd be better than he currently is. And instead of him proving that, it's almost like he expects it, and then he'll do it.
Because the thing is, right, you've just got to look at how he talks to certain people. Like, for example, Bambi when she was a hang-around. It's the power that's got to his head that's caused him to say shit like that. Like he is above everyone else.
Yeah.
And that was part of the reason what I said to SK when this whole shot caller meeting stuff was going on. Was that I don't think that's one of the reasons why I don't think James should be a shot caller. He's good at what he does, but his attitude when it comes to newer members and hangarounds and shit like that, it's poor.
Yeah, it is. And it pisses me off too, because I remember when Killian was hanging around. Not being a hanger, but he was pushing and he was about. Matt said some horrible shit about Killian, and James was fuming for days. He was like, "Oh, you can't talk to people like that. You can't speak about people like that." But then he goes around calling people block floaters and fucking telling Bambi she's a nobody. Doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, nobody in this gang should be telling them that they're doing nothing. They're a block floater. Like, you're useless at what you do. Like, there's better ways to go about it, especially when you're in a position of power. To make a good... Like, you should be encouraging people. You shouldn't be shitting on them. But I only think the one person I think that can actually do something is SK, and then even then, I don't know. It's ultimately it's up to James, isn't it? Like, it's up to him to fucking snap out of it and stop being a prick to everyone, but who knows?
What I see happening right now is almost a carbon copy of Matt and Patara and the mandem. I don't know how much of it you saw back in the day, but like, Matt made Patara's life a fucking hell. And Matt himself admitted the other day he feels that he's to blame for the fact that Patara's not around us anymore.
Yeah, no, I didn't really see any of that, to be honest.
He basically just never listened to Patara, pushed him to his limits every day, but Patara was too nice to do anything about it. And I said it to James when SK was gone, that I won't let him do what Matt did to Patara. I'm nowhere fucking near as nice as Patara is.
Fuck, man. I think I'll talk to SK when he's around. Like,
I think you need to.
yeah, because
I know you said you want to keep that shit between us, but I think it's like you said it yourself. It's the only way that he's gonna fucking improve.
the thing is, right? James is gonna see that when this gets to James is gonna see this as, oh, Taylor snaked me. But in reality, it's just me wanting to make sure that there's no inner drama within the gang. And I just want him to... I actually just want him to fucking sort his shit out. Because I miss when James was actually on his productive shit. And actually hanging out with everyone, and we were just doing things as a group.
Thing is, though, it won't... If he actually has that mentality of it's you snaking him when he snaked the whole gang by doing that to begin with, then I don't know what to tell him.
Yeah, true.
The minute he goes bad-mouthing gang members to other gangs... It's not the first time he's did it, bro. Do you know about when he was shit-talking me to other gangs?
No.
Okay. So we done an ammo crate, and we followed the people that had the crate. It was the auction, the Glockatron auction. And we followed Hades. They fell off their bike, and the guy with the crate, he died when he fell off the bike. And I went to go rob him, and James gave the call of they're on the highway above us, right? It was in the sewers by Manor Park, right?
Right.
So he gave the call that they were on the Popular Street, like bridge above the sewers, right above us. So I said, okay, fuck robbing him. Let's loop around quickly to Manor Park, because Manor Park overlooked the body perfectly, right?
Yep.
When we got up to Manor Park, some of Hades were there. I think we got into a bit of a fight, and by the time we got back down around, someone had grabbed the person with the crate and dipped.
Right.
And it was a bad call for me, right? We should have just robbed the body, but I reacted at the time to the info that they were above us, and I just didn't want us to get smoked trying to fucking greed a crate, right? It was an awful call for me. We ended up getting smoked completely. I get back to the block, and Terry tells me that James has been on the phone to the Saints and
Fucking
been on the phone
Odox
to
just texted
Perez,
me.
calling me a fucking moron and saying that I fucked up and all this kind of shit. The other gangs. And
Yeah.
he's lucky I got back from the hospital and had nothing, because I swear to God, I would have smoked him. I would have shot him. Wouldn't have cared the consequences. The fact that he went to speak, he rang fucking the Saints and rang Perez to shit talk about what happened before even having the decency to speak to me about it, to me was just crazy disrespectful. So it's not the first time he's done it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll talk to SK when he's next around, in hopes that it actually resolves something. And then, if it doesn't, then I ain't got a fucking clue. But I think if anyone's gonna get it across to James, it'll be SK.
Yeah.
Because I don't want people waking up and fucking James shitting on them. Because all it does is demotivates people. And it causes a divide.
Majorly, bro. Like, I'm sure he's going to try and say that it's people just like... the people going against him are people just backing me, right?
Yeah.
But... it's a natural course of action when, for the most part, I treat people fairly.
You're the two I see of the gang, bro. Like, people just respect hierarchy. James doesn't.
But it's also a case of, like, if I was doing what James is doing and James was doing what I'm doing, most people would be on his side.
It's
even less about the hierarchy and more about how I treat people. Like, sure, I can be a cunt sometimes, but most of the time, like, sure, I'll put my hands up and say sometimes I'm a bit hot-headed and heated in situations and I say some shit. But most of the time, I'm quite fair with everybody. And the only time I'm a cunt to people is usually when it's deserved. People are stepping out of line or something. Like,
yeah. It's like he said some shit to me yesterday, right? In a jokey way. But it was something to do with, like, the deals that we were doing. And I called him a stupid fuck. And he was like, don't talk to me like that, I'm your shot caller. I was like, bitch, we're the same. Like, it's like he was trying to hold his... in a joking way, he was trying to hold his role above my head. But in reality, we're actually the same, and he can't do that shit to me.
yeah.
I do think he has something in his mind that he just has more power than people, and he can hold it above their heads. And I don't like that.
It's similar shit to what I went through when I was first made 2IC of the gang, in a sense of not everyone naturally respects you just because you're put in a position.
Yeah, of course. People were
You
fuming
have
that I
to
was a
prove
fucking
and earn.
made a shot caller.
Yeah, that was... I mean, people just had a problem with the how quickly you had made a shot caller. I don't think anyone could argue that you wouldn't have been a good shot caller.
Yeah.
And there's a part of me that also doesn't want to do anything about this situation, because I was against him becoming a shot caller to begin with.
Yeah.
Obviously, if I see shit getting bad, like to a point where something has to be done, I'll do it. But there's a part of me definitely that I knew it was going to happen.
It's only a matter of time, right?
Because he definitely has this thing where he like I feel like he feels like he should only act a certain way when he gets put in that position, which he did initially, but he just got lazy. And Like, it comes down to, I don't even care if he hangs out with other gangs a lot, right? That's not my issue. It's the fact that he then has the audacity to say he doesn't fuck with newer people in the gang when he's never even given them a chance, bro. Like, that's like you coming back after 2 months and saying you don't fuck with the new people that you haven't met or even giving them a chance. I'd have told you to shut the fuck up and give them a chance.
It's just, I don't know, bro. Everyone's different, innit? Like, but from my perspective as well, I've also been the person that, I have been a leader. I have been the person that brings people into the gang, so I have to give everyone a chance. And I'm still sort of in that mindset, like, I will never change from that. Everyone deserves a chance. Even if they fucked up, everyone deserves a second chance.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, I want Terry back. I miss him.
Problem with Terry is it's more than a second chance.
Yeah, true. But the thing is, I mean, I haven't seen him a lot, but I've also seen, like, a massive change in his attitude when I have seen him.
Yeah, agreed. My doubt with Terry, though, is that he'd done it before. He changed. He relaxed. And then he just kind of almost relapsed. I do miss him being around, but there's always that part of me that knows he shot SK like that. Just...
Hello, Carl. But then again, it's, I guess that's, in terms of that, I think that's more up to SK whether he wants to forgive him, and I guess he has. Because he wouldn't be around the gang if he wasn't forgiven.
Yeah, I mean, it is ultimately his call.
All I want, bro, is just this gang to thrive. That's all I want. That's all I've wanted from day one since I joined. I've never been the person that enjoys drama. I've never been a pot stirrer. I've always just been a person that wants us to thrive. And seeing people within the gang just not fucking with each other just hurts.
Yeah, same for me, bro. Every single thing I do every day is for this fucking gang. But the shit I've sacrificed for this gang. I feel like sometimes it like, don't get me wrong, I'm in a position obviously where I pretty much go on everything that happens, you know. Rollouts, banks, fucking cargoes, whatever. But in terms of just being able to just sit back and chill and have fun, it's weeks and weeks at a time before I even have a spare minute just to even think about it.
It's just a life of a person in a high position, bro. I think that's all I really wanted to talk about, bro.
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely gonna be interesting. But yeah, you need to have the same conversation with SK.
Yeah, well, hopefully tomorrow. But the sooner this gets sorted, the better.